Hello and welcome to all top 5s. I looked at supposed past and present gateways to hell in another video, but this video covers some slightly more obscure mythological portals, though no less feared. Number 5. Mount Heckler. Starting off in Iceland, Mount Heckler is an active volcano in the south of the island, part of a longer volcanic ridge. It's Iceland's most active volcano, having erupted more than 20 times in the last 1100 years, covering the entire country with volcanic material. So it's little wonder why people called it the gateway to hell in the Middle Ages. One monk in 1120 documenting the voyages of St. Brendan described the mountain as the prison of Judas. Another monk in 1180 wrote about Heckler, "The renowned fiery cauldron of Sicily, which men call Hell's Chimney. That cauldron is affirmed to be like a small furnace compared to this enormous inferno." Birds flying through the eruption in 1341 were widely thought to be souls of the dead swarming around the Hell Gate. Furthermore, a 16th century German scholar wrote about Mount Heckler, saying that the gates of hell could be found in the bottomless abyss of Heckler Fell. The mythology surrounding the mountain didn't die with the Middle Ages, however. There remains a legend to this day that Heckler is the meeting place for witches in Easter. Spooky. Number 4. Lacus Courteous. Although it doesn't appear to be much these days, the Lacus Courteous was believed to be an ancient gateway to hell. Today, though, it is an otherwise unremarkable area in the Roman Forum in Rome, filled in and covered over with stone. However, the little information we have of the pit suggests that it used to be very different. Livy, a Roman historian, wrote about the Lacus Courteous and its supposed link with an absolutely ancient Roman family, the gens Curtia. He wrote that people venerated the Lacus Courteous highly and that it was actually an enormous chasm threatening the city of Rome, and it would only close up when the city sacrificed something dear into the chasm. Marcus Curtius, family member of the gens Curtia, understood his worth as a brave young Roman and chose to ride his horse straight into the chasm in full armor. This sacrifice appeased the ravine and it closed up, saving Rome. It was thought that Lacus Courteous was a direct entrance to the underworld, and people would throw coins into the pit ever after to appease the gods of hell and keep the city safe. Number 3. Masaya Volcano. In Nicaragua, known in ancient times as Masaya, the people lived in fear and awe of the Masaya Volcano, which they believed was itself a god, harboring a sorceress inside its hellish domain. However, in the 16th century, Spanish explorers and invaders arrived, and having never seen or heard much of volcanoes before, witnessed the Masaya Volcano with horror, immediately declaring it a hellgate. In 1529, one holy order lugged a huge cross up the volcano in a bid to consecrate the site and stop its raging fire, unsuccessfully of course. A decade later, a notable Friar Toribio Benavente wrote about the volcano's undoubtedly supernatural disposition, and that the constant churning lava, rumbling and smoke point to it being the place from which the condemned are thrown by demons. Over time, though, superstitions became less severe. Future friars led expeditions into the mouth of the Masaya volcano in search of precious metals, and theological debates decided that perhaps volcanoes weren't hell portals after all. Still, who can blame these explorers for making that assumption when faced with such a terrifying, hellish mountain? Number 2. Acheron. When it comes to rivers and hell, it's the ancient Greeks that immediately spring to mind for me. The Acheron is a real river that runs through northwest Greece and ends in the Ionian Sea. It's only 36 miles long, but featured greatly in ancient Greek mythology as the River of Woe. The Greek underworld had 5 rivers flowing into it, including the Acheron and the more notorious River Styx. In Homer's poem The Odyssey, one character directs the hero Odysseus to the Acheron, assuring him that it will lead him directly to Hades. The Roman poet Virgil also wrote of the Acheron in his epic The Aeneid, naming it as the river across which the recently deceased were carried by Charon the ferryman, crossing over into the underworld. A slight twist on this can be found in Dante's Inferno, where he follows the ancient Greek mythology of Acheron ferrying souls across the river Acheron, which acts as the main border of hell. Although in this version, the souls of people who chose neither the good nor the wicked path would end up on Acheron's banks, destined to remain there forever as punishment for their inability to choose. There have been many more writings on the Acheron, and as beautiful as it looks in photographs, it seems to have quite the dark and hellish history. Number 1. St. Patrick's Purgatory. An ancient pilgrimage site located on Station Island in Ireland, St. Patrick's Purgatory is still significant and is visited by thousands of Christian pilgrims a year, even to this day. The legend from around the 5th century goes that Jesus Christ led St. Patrick to a cave or well on this island, telling him that it was an entrance to purgatory, often portrayed as a hellish, fiery place where unclean souls are purified for heaven. This was widely accepted, as it was marked on maps and mentioned in texts in Europe throughout the Middle Ages and beyond. St. Patrick explained to his followers that by witnessing purgatory in this cave, people would be enlightened as to the pleasures of heaven and also the punishments in hell. Nowadays, a chapel complete with bell tower stands directly on top of the closed-up cave of St. Patrick's Purgatory. We can only go by eyewitnesses from the day as to what lies within, but thousands of pilgrims attend the site annually, fasting and praying over 3 days on the island. Who knows, perhaps in that sealed-up cave is a gateway to heaven and hell, offering visions of what lies ahead for those visiting. And that's it from All Top 5s for this week. Don't forget to check out my other video on this topic, it's a really interesting subject. What do you think of these supposed gates? Let me know in the comments, but just remember to be polite and considerate when you're posting. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like on YouTube because it really helps me out, and you can subscribe for a new video from me every Tuesday. So, peace and love to each and every one of you, and I'll see you all next time on All Top 5s.